Hello everyone, this is Warren and welcome to today's live stream. We're going to be learning Sleigh Ride for easy piano. You can find the sheet music in the cards as well as the video description below. Once you understand the things that I'm showing you in these lessons, would like you to go on over to the cards as well and also the links and all that for to get to the tutorial for this song. And you want to think of it as the test. So this is kind of like the blueprint, the guide that I'm trying to show you, the self-teaching guide, like a study guide. And the tutorial is the real deal. It's a little test to see if you are actually understanding all the principles and concepts I'm trying to show you on how to effectively learn and practice. Okay, now before we start, make sure you hit that subscribe button. And if you haven't, and if you would like to get some notifications whenever I go live, make sure you hit that notification bell as well. And a full schedule of the classes, I mean, I guess you could think of these as piano classes. The lessons are going to be in the comment section. You can find that in every single live stream as well. All right, so I call this easy piano, but it's more like late easy. And the way I describe that is it's like right before early intermediate. So it's kind of in that gray area of easy and early intermediate. Not exactly intermediate, but early intermediate. So what does that mean? Well, you're going to be comfortable. You have to be comfortable definitely reading notes. Okay, shouldn't be a problem for you at this point. I mean, it doesn't have to be all over the place or anything ridiculous, but you should be able to read every single note in this arrangement. And also be comfortable with some leaps, some jumps, and some scale and arpeggio-like patterns. Not full up and down the keyboards. It's still like a fixed position here and there, but slowly getting up to expanding your repertoire, okay? All right, so let me show you how to practice this. I'm going to take it from the beginning, and I'll explain these concepts as we go along. Whoops, right there. So we're going to stop it right there. So even the first little intro all the way to measure 5. We're going to call this process small chunking. So you're going to divide it into the smallest section possible. So from the beginning. I don't know if you notice the pattern there. It's just a bunch of chords. So let me show you quickly how I would practice this. This is a little hack, and I always want to try to give you these little hacks to really not only speed up your practice, but also help you learn it more efficiently. So I would just do this. So instead of just these repeated notes, and actually doing it this way is actually much harder than the way it's written. So that's another hack, making it harder as well. So when you play the actual song, it's a piece of cake compared to how you've been practicing it. Okay, so these are the positions, the chords, the harmonies for you to play. Okay, so let me show you one last time. Yeah, and then when that gets better, you can altogether avoid all that and just play it as written. Yeah, so another reason I point this out is so you can see the pattern there, because a lot of getting better at pretty much anything that requires a skill set like this type of piano playing, is identifying patterns. Okay, all right, now we're going to try from the beginning together all the way to measure 5. Ready, go. Sorry, ready, all right. 1, 2, ready, go. Alright, and I'll try to keep it slow as we move along. Next part. And I'll stop it right there at measure 13. Now I'm just going to go back and show you the right hand, so we can also call this just simplifying it, okay? Alright, now, sleigh bells jingling, ring ting tingling. 2 here, you end up on a 2, but then I would switch to 1 there. Because if you look at measure 8, you're going to play that with your second finger, come on. Right here, I'll just use some pedal, if you can. Yeah, I don't think pedal is totally necessary at this level, but if you want to try to introduce that to your practice, go ahead. Alright, sleigh bells, this is measure 5 to 13. Give it a try with me. Ready, go. left hand. Alright, now if you notice the pattern, measure 5 and measure 6. 7. Chromatic, going up here. This is from 11 to 12. See this? Okay, so I'm gonna show you the pattern one more time. So these are all repeated notes. It's really the bass line that's changing most of the time in this section. And so I would actually practice it that way a few times. Now I'm going to show you again as written. And as you play this, you want to highlight the bass note more than the top. Especially when you do it together, instead of being top heavy. You want that bass to come out more than the middle notes, okay? Let's try that together. Left hand. Ready, go. Okay, then back to both hands. Alright, we're gonna try that together. Ready, go. Now at this point we have one part which is the introduction, and then we have this section. Technically if you want, you can go ahead and connect it together from the beginning, but I'm actually going to continue on. Because, you know, I want to wrap this section up before we go back to the beginning, okay? Now, I'm going to play from measure 13. All the way to 21, and if you're really paying attention, you can tell that it's exactly the same. So 13 to 13 all the way to 19. It's exactly the same as the first verse that we played from Sleigh Bell. So that's another practice hack here, is that whenever you come across a section that is a total repeat, just go ahead and skip it. There's really no point, because when you play it from beginning to end, because I assume you want to get these up to kind of like a performance level where you play it in front of people, you're going to take care of that problem anyway, okay? So we're just going to take it from 19 to 21, that little transition going up to the Giddyup part. Alright, new section. Alright, so just you. Giddyup. So just that part, okay? Now here's the right hand. Okay, ready, go. Alright, left hand. Ready, go. And if you wanted to, before putting it all together, you could take it from measure 13. Yeah, so if you want to do that, go ahead and hit that pause button if you're watching after the live stream is over. Practice that, then come back. Now we're going to go back all the way to the beginning. So we have the intro and then these two verses, okay? So from the beginning, here's what it sounds like. You see that you take it all the way from the beginning. I'm playing this repeated section anyway. Okay, now just the right hand. We'll try it together, much slower. Ready, go. left hand. I'm gonna try that again. Yeah, I'm taking that way too fast. Let's take it slower now. Ready, go. 2, 3, 4. Alright, both hands. Together, ready, go. Alright, now those are the main concepts we've done so far. It's just simplification, just throwing different combinations, doing hands separate and hands together, and then also small chunking. Now, I didn't speak a lot about repetition because there's no real magic number to it. And I used to teach this way. It's actually not, in my experience and the way I've been teaching, it's actually not necessary to do it the traditional way, where they say you want to get like 5 perfect repetitions. Forget all that. You just need to do it enough times where you feel like you're making some progress, where it's kind of solid in a sense, and then you don't have to keep over drilling it. In fact, over repeating, over repetition is actually harmful to your progress. So you want to get it good enough, then you just move on. Yeah, move on to another section of the song. You can even do different pieces of music at the same time. And after a certain amount of time has passed, you come back to that same section and you practice it again a little bit. So like this part, let's say all the way to 21. Let's say we practice it, it's getting there, it's kind of solid, then you just move on. Maybe you wait 10 minutes, you come back, you practice this section again. And then you might have to do small chunking as well, because doing longer sections is a matter of being able to pay attention, which has to do with concentration, all right? So if your concentration is not up to par, then you just have to keep small chunking this process till it gets there. But again, the whole repetition thing, while you wait, it's called spaced repetition. Look that up online because it's going to take a lot of time for me to explain. I don't want to do that to you guys here. It's called spaced repetition. Get really good at understanding that. Okay, now we're taking it from the pickup to 21. Alright, and I'm just going to take a look at the next page, see if I got that right. Yes, okay. Alright, so this next part all the way to the bottom of the page, and one more measure. I don't want to keep flipping these pages. This is the section we're going to practice now, and just show you the right hand. Giddy up. Okay, so it's kind of difficult. This part's fine. A lot of black keys here. When you play this this measure at measure 25, it's kind of like you're pivoting on your thumb. This type of thing, okay? So you kind of want to, when you're playing this third note with your, you're playing this note with your third finger. When you get to the thumb, it's almost like you're moving there and then moving back. So it's like bouncing back. This might be a good exercise for you to try at home. 3, 1, 2, 1, back and forth. So that's the difficulty there. Make sure you keep your wrist nice and loose. And pivot from the thumb. Alright, let me show you one more time. And then here, of snow, we got pinky to pinky. You're gonna practice this jump. All right, back and forth like this. So you play it slow, you move fast, and then you shorten the time over and over. Okay, it's almost like you're taking advantage of muscle memory. Okay, where you don't have to think about it. Let's try from giddy up, just the right hand. Ready, go. All right, sorry, I just forgot to mention something. Giddy up. I go from that last one. I use a 4 because I want to get the pinky onto that C sharp. Okay, ready, go. Okay, left hand. Alright, so, another hack. This is it. I'll just go. You're playing basically this octave, then the note in the middle, which is the fourth note, right? That's really all you need to do. So get good at this. These are the keys. This is the pattern. Then you can just play it normally. And then here's fine. So you can kind of split it up that way. So from 21 to 26, just this. And then 26. That's the only other part to practice. Easy way to break things down. Alright, let me show you one more time now. Still highlighting the bass. Okay, try it together. Ready, go. Alright, back to both hands. Alright, now moving on to the next page. This section continues actually all the way to 37. But, I'm just going to do half of this because that's where the page turn is at. And I don't want to make this live stream too awkward turning pages back and forth, right? So that's about half of this section. So the second half is the next part from the pickup to 29. It's the same thing, it's just in a different key, right? And then brings us back to the first verse. So let me separate it from giddy up, pick up from measure 29 to 33, and then we'll practice 33 to 37 a little separately as well, okay? So you can think of this as breaking it down into 3 different sections, from the pickup to 21, all the way to 29, then we're going to practice 29, all the way to 33, and then 33 to 37. And then when you're done with that, put it all together from the pickup to 21 all the way to 37. And again, I'm not going to give that entire section because, page turns kind of weird. All right, so here's the giddy up part from pickup to 29. Basically the same idea. Still taking a 4 at that last one. There's no pivot here, so just go to the C sharp. You see how I'm kind of aiming to the C sharp? Alright, so let's try that together. Ready, go. Alright, and left hand. Same pattern, just different keys. Okay, try that with me. 29, ready, go. Back to both hands. Okay, then 33 all the way to 37. Oh, actually, we gotta try it together, right? Ready, go. Okay, now 33. tricky part. Well, I mean, let's give you the notes first to position the patterns. In 33, it's basically just this harmony here. All right. Now, if you look at 35, that's the only tricky part in my opinion. Because look how quickly you have to get the thumb under. Okay, so there's another principle that'll help you. I'll give you another practice hack here. You can kind of go backwards. We call it reverse engineering. So to this from wintry, then you take it from of a wintry, then the whole thing. Okay? So that's a good way. It's like practicing backwards if you want to think about it that way. All right, let's take it from 33. I'm going to count the rest. So I'll say ready, go, rest. Okay? Ready, go, rest. Alright, on the left hand, we have simple 7th chord. Just this. Anytime you have longer notes, we have whole note, and it's actually tied, and then we have half note, the D, and 237. Just practice going from note to note as fast as possible. Until, you know, it gets shorter and shorter, right? You actually don't have to go too crazy because it's longer notes, so it's not going to be as difficult, okay? Let's try it together. Left hand, ready, go. 2, 3, 4, rest. And there you go. Okay, back to both hands. And that's it. And then we go back to the beginning chorus or verse, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, so let's try that together again. So 33, ready, go. Okay, so from here all the way to the end, it's basically the same thing. So there's really not much to practice. So it's 4 pages, but if you want to think of it that way, there's a lot of repetition. So it's really like, you know, 2 pages. Or maybe like 2 pages and a quarter of a page, or 2 pages and a half, if you want to think of it that way. So it's not every single every single page is not necessary to practice. This is save your time, okay? All right, so I'm just gonna show you the last part to practice, which is from 53 to the end. We're gonna skip the repetition because there's no need to go back. It's the same thing. So we're going 53 to the end. Then I'm gonna take it from 37 to show you how this last section ends up, how it sounds. And then stick around because we'll have a really quick recap at the end and a lot of important concepts to review. Please stick around for that. So make sure you know how to practice it on your own. Also, we're going to wrap up this lesson in a second after that. So if you like this video, if you have enjoyed this video, like this video. Also share it with someone who would appreciate it. And it's the holiday spirit, so sharing is caring anyway. All right, so you would be helping me out a lot. I really appreciate it in advance. All right, last part from 53 to the end. It's cool because you compare it to the beginning. What is the difference here? I just want you to think about it for a second. Instead of going down, we're going. It's kind of cool, right? So in the beginning, we went down. We're going to end going in the opposite direction. Whoops. Remember what I said about practicing that first intro as well? Just play the chords. So you get better and better at it. And if you can do that, then playing it regularly is no problem at all. Let me show you a little bit slower. This is a bunch of thirds. Basically. Okay, now let me show you a little bit slower again. I'm going to play the whole thing. Alright, I should do a diminuendo on that. Because it makes that forte pop a little bit more. It's cool. You can kind of catch people off guard. It's really fun when that happens. Alright, let's try that together. 53 to the end. Ready, go. Alright, now I'm going to take it all the way from the pickup to 37. Our cheeks are nice. Okay. Alright, so let's try it from there. Ready? And then let's just try it together. Try it with me at the same time, all the way to the end. Skipping that first ending, going straight to the last part. And then we'll wrap this up. I'll give you some pointers, some recap, and then that'll be it for today's lesson. Ready, go. and that is it for today's lesson. Quick recap. This is for easy piano. You're gonna find sheet music in the links as well as the description. And the way I consider this is not exactly like easy. It's really close to becoming early intermediate. So it's making that transition to almost early intermediate. Okay. So you need to be comfortable jumping from note to note. Nothing too crazy, not really up and down the keyboard, but you need to be comfortable with these jumps and whatnot, and being able to play chords at the same time. So nothing super tricky, but you do have to be comfortable with developing your repertoire or your technique as well. Okay, so it's kind of doing like an intro to scales and arpeggios. So you should at least be getting started on scales and arpeggios. You definitely should not be struggling to read notes at this level, okay? Because when you make the transition, close to the transition to early intermediate, you shouldn't have problem reading the notes, okay? Other thing we practice here, the two important concepts. Well, three concepts if you want to think of it that way. First one is small chunking, doing small sections at a time, then you build it up to bigger sections. The second thing we worked on is just simplifying, making sure you practice enough hands separate, okay? Because there's in my opinion, a lot of students don't do that enough. They just want to do both hands all the time. You're not going to make a lot of progress that way if you're not practicing hands separately. To this day, I still practice hands separate, okay? And then the third concept is spaced repetition. Instead of just doing it a million times in a row to get it perfectly, going for perfection, you just want to do it enough times. And then wait a little bit, like 10-20 minutes, and come back and do it again. And then even skip it for the next day, and then come back later. The next day is what I meant, okay? Anyway, that's really just a rough, small explanation for spaced repetition. It's really an incredibly complex topic, so you know, it's just I don't have enough time to show you that here, but that is actually a really important strategy to learn, spaced repetition, okay? All right, and then last but not least, if you haven't subscribed, make sure you still subscribe and hit the notification bell to catch whenever I go live. Like this video, help me out, help me help you. I want to keep all this content as free as possible. And in order for me to continue to do these, it's just for you guys to help me spread the word as well. These lessons are awesome. I love providing value for you guys, and I hope you guys appreciated it. Anyway, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. If you made it all the way to the end of this lesson, I give you some props, and good for you, man. Just keep it up, or woman. And I will see you for the next live stream. We're doing Christmas songs for the rest of this entire month. Really looking forward to it. Really one of my favorite times of the year. I hope it is for you too. Okay? All right. I will see you guys next time, and happy practicing.